You're listening to the Business Communicators.
We don't want to dive too much into politics here on the show this week. We know everyone's had a very tumultuous week with the election that happened last week, but there was something interesting that I found on CNN. And many of you have probably heard of meditation apps that you can buy in the iTunes store or the Android store. Calm. They are a company that has one of the top apps for relaxation, for meditation. And I thought it was kind of hilarious, but also brilliant from a marketing perspective that Calm sponsored the election results on CNN. And so many people were talking about it on social media. They were trending. It just made total sense. And it was kind of like what people needed at the time. But I don't know. I just thought it was brilliant product placement. And I am curious from y'all's perspective, what have been other brilliant product placements that you've seen, at major events, maybe major campaigns? Thomas, I'll go ahead and start with you.
It's interesting because we talk product placement, we talk sponsorships. This is not a new concept. Pro sports, you see it a lot. Can't go to a game and not see half dozen different ads around it. Stadiums are named after it. Big dollars on sponsoring college athletics. I think the Olympics has been a little interesting on how they try to keep some of the sponsorships out. So like some of the jerseys from the different countries, they used to cover up like the Nike swoosh or the other ones along those lines. It's always right place, right time. Does this help sell our product? But also with it, I think one of the challenges that marketers or advertisers face is what's the return on investment there? Because the measurement is so loosey-goosey. Is it a brand building or is it a direct sales thing? The numbers guy in me comes out saying, yeah, you can show that. It's not easy and it's very loose. So the finance people kind of get a little worried about that. I remember a movie a couple years ago, a documentary of the greatest movie ever sold, where they went out and they tried to find sponsors before they wrote the movie script. Totally not, and it wasn't making fun of the sponsorship industry. It was more education of this is how we're doing this, and right. This is what we're doing. And it's an old movie. If you're not an advertising or marketing geek, you probably won't really like it. And even if you are, you probably won't really like it either, because it kind of as a movie sense from it. So I think it's real interesting that you can sponsor so minuscule things. Even as parents who have kids who play sports, our Little League baseball teams, our soccer teams have sponsorships, whether it's the car dealership down the road or the dentist. I remember playing sports and seeing the billboards out in the background. And reality is just trying to get where your audience is. I would like to see the results of how many downloads came or how many downloads are still coming since the election's still going on. And so I think it's real interesting. And I was actually going to want to ask Allison, like, hey, have you thought about throwing in a sponsorship ad into like, hey, this product is brought to you by Coca-Cola or something along those lines to, increase the revenue side of it?
Yes, I think that's a wonderful idea. And it's probably something that I should explore. With that Calm ad, I think that was ingenious. I'm like you, Thomas. I would love to see if they had an increase in downloads and, kind of what was the result of their investment into that. But I do think that was brilliant and it was timely because people are so nervous and also on edge and very stressed out. And so a lot of people really didn't even want to view the elections or the election results. I think it was a lot of dread because we didn't know what to expect and what would happen. And so just that, from that perspective, yes, I think it was a brilliant idea and I would love to see how their numbers turned out. And I think as far as campaigns, what comes to my mind is the NBA recently with their Black Lives Matter campaign. I think that they've been doing a really great job with promoting that consistently throughout their kind of bubble season. It's been different. I think that, of course, it's helping the movement, it's helping with social awareness, but I also think that it helped with viewership. I think it helped their base and their fan base to tune in and to watch and support them because they took this social stand and they had these jerseys branded and they were consistent and everyone on the teams were wearing it. I think it was a dual benefit for them. And I know that I paid particular attention to some of the games because of some of the branding that they were doing around their feelings about Black Lives Matter and their social activism. It really piqued my interest and it did make me watch a few more games because I felt like, okay, I'm watching not just because I'm a fan or I love basketball, but now they're really talking about how they want to put a spotlight on some of these injustices. So I felt like I was supporting a cause as well as, watching these basketball games. And so I think these types of partnerships and sponsorships are definitely beneficial and very, very innovative. So thanks for the tip. I'm definitely going to start looking at that.
I hate to admit it, but I am addicted to TikTok. I think the quarantine has sort of made me, more attached to the phone, more attached to that short media. And you mentioned the NBA, probably about 2 months ago when, the NBA was still in the bubble. There was a white TikToker and he made a very bold claim at first. And he was like, I don't like seeing all these social justice names on the back of a jersey. And you start watching it and you're like, oh gosh, where is this going? And his response is, because now I don't know who's on the court. And he's like, it's really awkward when I'm saying, what are you doing, equality? Why did you do that? Stop doing the turnover and racism. So I'm obviously not delivering it as well as the TikTok did, but it was just kind of funny to see all the reaction videos to that, to see people kind of duetting in TikTok and like, whoa, where is this guy going? And then, just kind of start laughing as a result of it. But I do think the NBA did an incredible job. And I actually mentioned this on a call Friday morning after the election that they did a great job getting voters to turn out in 2020, using the arenas to either hold polling sites or ballot drop-offs. And I think that was incredible for voter turnout. We had the highest voter turnout since 1900. And that was all during a pandemic, which is just remarkable. So I don't care who you voted for. I don't care which side. I mean, half the country's split. We're never going to change that. But the fact that many people turned out to vote, it's incredible.
Well, for me, very quickly, product placement, I like mindless entertainment. And if you're a fan of Sex and the City, Carrie Bradshaw made Milano Blahnik very famous. I don't know if you saw the movie or not, but if you did see it, remember the scene where Big, instead of giving Carrie a ring, he held up the blue Milano Blahnik shoe to propose to her. And I really believe that really helped make him, and they said helped make him a household name. But Sex and the City, for me, they made so many fashion designers and celebrities household names by using their products, placing their products or whatever in the movies and as well as the TV series. So that was brilliant for me.
I'm going to echo on the brilliant side of it. Stranger Things comes to mind, the Netflix show Stranger Things.
The waffles.
Where they show that, where they're actually going back saying that the product placement's worth about $15 million and everything like that. But I think what they did was so brilliant was because it was kind of looking back at time in the 80s. And so if you were going to sponsor the show, you had to show the product as it looked in the 80s. So it was like the Coca-Cola can from the 80s. It was the shirts from the 80s. And so it wasn't a modern take on it. It was, this is the way it is. And these sponsorship things is much like commercials. As we enjoy the entertainment, we enjoy to look back at it. And a lot of this would not take place if it wasn't for the advertising dollars and the sponsorship. So call out to our sponsors.
Yeah, Pierpont and Mykrantz and Co. We definitely thank you for sponsoring the podcast. IBC Houston, you guys do great work. But I think product placement at the end of the day is just, if done well, it can be incredibly effective. Calm, amazing job. I think back to like the camcorders in the 1980s that were just coming out and seeing them in Back to the Future. I mean, that really helped elevate that. Marquez Brownlee, who's one of my favorite YouTubers, dissects that in one of his first like retro tech videos. So yeah, if done right, it could be incredibly effective.
You've been listening to the Business Communicators.